Joe presents Boys Don't Cry with me, Russell Kane, together with ASOS. Hello, welcome to Boys Don't Cry. I'm Russell Kane. It's the show where I get a panel of two blokes and force them, essentially, to talk about stuff they wouldn't normally talk about. We've had all kinds of subjects. We've had height, body hair. We've had dick length about 5 times. Finally, we resolved it. 7.1 is the answer, inches. We get them to force them to talk on the subject. We sometimes drift into, well, you know what girls are like. That's why we have a lady auditor as well. We will always have a female guest going, excuse me, I don't think you'll find that is how women think. It's not woolly jumper, men's group, sit in a circle, hug it out afterwards, so glad I found someone to talk to. As important as that stuff is, sadly, 90% of men go, no, thanks, that's not for me. So there is some of that in there, but it's wrapped in a jacket of banter. Welcome. No. It's just my brain. It's all the insecurities of my brain being discussed with two random blokes that I know from various walks of life. There might be comedians, there might be presenters, but who are they today? Well, I'll tell you who they are. One is comedian Kae Kurd, and the other is TV and radio presenter Colin Murray.
Hi.
Lady auditor today is TV presenter AJ Odudu.
Oi, oi!
Oi, oi. Is that really the phrase you use, lady auditor?
Lady auditor.
It's like you try to build 21st century and it comes out totally 1940s.
That's why we're reclaiming old-fashioned words.
As today's lady auditor, I would be the wonderful
I want to reclaim the word banter. Banter used to mean playful chat back and forth, maybe with some spikes in it where we discover stuff about each other, and that's how I'm using it. It doesn't mean, I've just punched you on the arm. Banter, you're bruised. Hey, banter, I've keyed your car. It's only banter, Gary. Why are you crying?
Would that be banned?
Yeah. Anyway, before we go any further, there's something else you can download from Joe. Take it away, Alex.
Thank you very much indeed. It's just a moment or two for us to duck in and tell you about the House of Rugby. We're having a lot of fun. What are we trying to do with the show? Why should people be watching and listening?
We are Tracy trying to mix everything up.
This is going into another show so that people come and watch us.
Oh.
Hello, everyone. Say hello to nice people.
Right. Well, we should basically watch House of Rugby because it's unbelievable humour. We don't talk about any rugby, and we give you the inside track from people who are still actually involved in rugby, not old 60-year-olds who don't know anything.
Good. Tens, your views?
Yeah,
You've offended all the Irish. You've offended most of the clubs.
Basically, we try and offend anyone who possibly works against the English. So the Irish have been hit hard. We're just building up to the Welsh, and then we're going to finish off by fucking putting down the Scottish, yeah? And that's
Good
my
stuff.
mother-in-law as well. So
just want to reiterate, we are a family show, despite the 30-second trail, including... There we go.
No,
you can download us via YouTube. You can as you can tell, we're a very professional outfit. You can watch us via YouTube and download us via iTunes. I hope you'll join us at some point. It's a lot of fun, really.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, it's Boys Don't Cry. Now, we might take some random subjects today. I'm not sure how much meat is on the bone of this one. I'm sick of hearing it. In my opinion, it's a sexist stereotype. I just think there's A people and B people. But there is an argument, there's a strong evolutionary and scientific argument, as well as anecdotal evidence, that men are more selfish than women. Are we? Do we need to be? Did we used to have to be in the evolutionary environment where our species was born on the plains? Would the non-selfish man have survived as he hunted an elk? I don't know. And what was an elk doing in Africa when it's native to Northern Europe? More to the point, Russell, self-heckle. But, Kay, how selfish are you? And remember, lies just get edited out, so there's no point.
That's a mad question. Like, because usually selfish people don't think they're selfish, do they?
No,
they like people. I'm not selfish, but some of the most selfish people I know.
Let's begin by destigmatising the word selfish. If, and to quote Richard Dawkins, your body was not made up of selfish genes, you would not be here. Every single human act on some level is selfish, even if it's unconscious.
Yeah. Would you say turning up late would be considered to be a selfish act?
I think.
Well,
I said it's one of the most selfish things you can do because you're taking everybody in that. Like, how many people? Let me take something random. I don't know. Let me think. This podcast.
Yeah.
So, for example, 3 people here, 4 people here on set, right?
Yeah.
But then a whole crew.
That was nothing to do
their
with
whole
me.
day around being here on time.
Listen, Colin. That was nothing to do with me. Take it up with Addison Lee, all right? Like, that was nothing.
But you see, I would just get an Addison Lee a bit earlier.
For anyone who isn't Poirot, Kae Kurd was late.
I didn't book it. That's the point. I would have happily have turned up.
So the point is, like, even if you do something altruistic, for people, my listeners from Essex, that's when you do something for someone else. Even if you, I'm not altruistic. I don't have it. I had a test for it, and my willy was clean. No, altruistic is when you do something. Even when you do something for someone else and go, "Hey man, I noticed Kae was struggling this morning, AJ, so I just gave him a hug." I'm telling you about that.
Yeah.
But that's like, is any selfless act actually truly selfless?
No.
I would
completely
argue.
disagree with
I
that.
would argue that a parent's love for a child is completely selfless.
No, it's not, because they know when you grow into an adult and they get old and start shitting themselves, you have to look after them.
Yeah.
I don't think parents do
Every
it for that,
parent
though.
knows. Every parent knows what goes around comes around. That's the only reason why Russell Kane's had kids.
And it's even more important once we exit the EU. There will be no people to look after us when we get old, so you better start having
Don't go
children
there.
to care for us.
Right, here's what I think about selfishness, and it's something that I learned in my 20s, which is straightforward lines of responsibility. If you're not selfish enough, you won't be happy, and if you're too selfish, you won't be happy either. So say Russell and I, our relationship, right? And you're there and I'm here. We got to meet somewhere in the middle of selfishness. You've got to do as much for me as I do for you. So like this guy turned up for next to no money and did blood in the tracks for me. So when you ask me to do this, I say yes.
Boom.
But if he'd have said no, I would have told him to fuck off.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's my lines
Although
of responsibility,
I feel like no
right?
and fuck off aren't exactly matched as responses. You could have just said no.
That's an Irish thing.
You're
but
going to
we
do
can
the tracks? No, thank you. You can do mine. Fuck off.
I'd have had your home address.
You lost the parity of your argument at the end.
We haven't got away, you know. But yeah, it's getting somewhere in the middle, and that's I think where you achieve the happiness, where you say, and that includes friends and family. That's the biggest thing. Like, you selfish family members can ruin a human being. You have to say
Such
right
as?
here in the middle is where we meet.
You mean a mum or a dad, or
And anybody, I think a mum, a dad, a sister.
Are you turning? You're using general names, but do you mean your mum, your
No,
dad, your sister?
I just think in general, like, say for example, you've got a best mate and you always go to his house and he never comes to your house. That's an issue. That's a selfishness. That's like, I'm not willing to travel to see you. I'm not willing to put up with your environment.
Yeah.
You've got to find the middle. So I think selfish people lose friends from being too selfish, and selfless people get walked on. And you're totally right. Everybody has to have a bit of selfishness, but you've got to find that right. And it's lines of responsibility. It's more philosophy than anything, but finding that middle part is
just the reason I was saying it, Kae, was not to just be provocative in a studenty way. It was to take the stigma out of it, so we can own up to our own. So, for example, in your example, if you want the honest scientific answer to your example, is even though it's not on a conscious level, if you don't look after your kids once you've had them, your genes, which Richard Dawkins say are selfish themselves, would not be propagated into the next generation. You are programmed to love your child through biological, selfish, unconscious means, right? So every cell in your body is here because an ancestor was selfish on some level. So once we just look at it like a neutral scientific thing, I'll ask you again, Kae Kurd, how selfish are you?
I think I used to be. When I was younger, probably like in my teens and stuff, I was a lot more selfish than I am now. And I think it wasn't until like somebody pointed out to me, I think it was one of my brothers pointed it out to me like in my early 20s, oh man, you're selfish. And I was like, whoa, like I was sort of like had to look at myself.
Like, shut up, I'm doing my hair.
No, but it was just like, even when I lent somebody a pen, I'd be like, fuck it, they've got my pen. Like I'd be like, I was so like, it was weird, but it's only looking back on it now.
Have you got a religious background at all? Or?
I used to be quite religious.
And do you think religion can make someone selfish? Because
not really. I think religion, if anything, makes you a lot more. It makes you. I mean, I don't know. In my experience, it makes you a lot more humble, and it gives you a lot more.
My ex went out with someone who's quite my current partner, her ex, sorry Lindsay, my wife, my middle wife,
still current,
and my current wife too, please. No, her old partner was quite orthodoxly religious, and so he would be like, I don't drink, so we don't drink. I don't like this, so we don't like this.
But as you told me off air, he was fantastic in bed.
Yeah, he was. He was very generous in bed, but just too big, if anything.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
6 episodes, dick size.
So AJ, I've another little sign. You know what? I love my little scientific facts.
I know that you love your little science facts.
So Kae's saying he was more selfish when he was younger. However, riddle me this, lady auditor. So when we're teenagers, it's well known that the part of our brain that makes us more generous, empathetic and altruistic hasn't finished growing. Do you know what age that finishes developing in women?
What?
18. Can you guess when it finishes developing in men? Have a guess. Go on, have a little guess at AJ. 35.
Yeah.
35.
Yeah. It's always,
Yeah.
I didn't think that high, but I knew it was going to be way higher.
If you date a
my
29,
gosh.
if you date
Yeah.
a 31-year-old man, he's still looking at the other hot tub.
Wow.
Really?
That's-
Biologically speaking.
Yeah.
It's interesting,
It's
actually.
uncomfortable for men under 30 to reflect on that. You're like, excuse me if you just called me a child, but part of your brain is still in the.
Yeah, but women mature faster is one of the givens, I think. For me, it's a given in life. One of the things I worked out earlier was women matured more quick than men.
Absolutely. I think,
Does that surprise you,
you know,
AJ, or
going
does
back
that
to...
does that fit with your field research?
It fits. Sadly, it does fit with my field research. I think, interestingly, I find it interesting that Kate says that he's gotten less selfish as the years have gone on, because I feel like I have developed some selfishness over the years. I think actually, you know, as a teenager, even as, you know, in my early 20s, I felt that I was always giving, always that person, you know, going above and beyond to, you know, visit my friends and call everyone back and, you know, whatever it is. However, I feel like you have to develop an air of selfishness and really have to learn to put yourself first sometimes in order to develop not only in your personal life, but, you know, financially and, you know, in your career to get ahead. Sometimes you do need to exercise a little bit of selfishness.
And do you think blokes can handle that when you suddenly like, I'm changing my life and putting myself first? Do you think men have a negative reaction to
I think it just depends on your relationship with that man and how it started to begin with, because I think if you just have a personality transplant halfway through your, you know, 3-year relationship,
that? Isn't that every woman I've ever dated?
it gets
Personality number 2, uploading.
I think that's the key. Where did she come from? I was here all along.
yeah, but I think that's what happens sometimes in relationships. People change, and it's not always something that relationship can cope with, which is why people end up breaking up, because they're like, oh, I liked the subservient you. I liked the one who just said yes and agreed to everything that I did and said. And now that you're telling me that you're changing your ways and your opinions, I don't like
cooker.
it.
That's the pressure cooker, though. That's the saying yes too many times, and an explosion comes after that. But I think you've hit on exactly the key. Like, what is selfishness? I would say that there's two different things that you say. Look at that person, they're really generous, they're really selfless, they give you presents and they listen to you. I'm not sure that's true selflessness. I think true selflessness is being aware of the space somebody needs, being aware of that, of not infringing that person's personality, especially in relationships. Don't chip away at somebody because you don't like that one part. That's the part you fell in love with. Like if I was with you, like, I'd never want you to lose that like Bolton edge. I'd never want you to stop being it, you know, whatever you are, you know. And I think in relationships you do, and I think that's the most selfish thing you can do. It always comes back to relationships, doesn't it? Is to like chip away at somebody, chip away at, you know. I don't think being selfless is giving people presents and stuff. And then to make it Christmas, I don't do presents, and I tell everybody, like, I don't want to do presents. It's not what Christmas is for me. I'm not that
Isn't
person.
That just a little
I don't
selfish
like it.
thing you've developed?
Right, but this is the thing, right? When someone,
I'm on a high level, so I don't buy gifts. Bollocks.
so-
Get down the shops.
no, it's
It's a philosophical experiment. Buy me a fucking earring
No,
or
it's-
move out.
I like with some closer people, I'll say, okay, let's spend 20 quid on each other, right? But is it selfish for somebody who I said, I'm not getting you a present, so don't get me a present, we'll just have a drink at Christmas? Is it selfless or selfish of them to then buy me a present after I've told them that?
It can be a bit passive aggressive, isn't
I
it?
think it can be selfless because, say, for example, if you're not the person who needs gifts or requires gifts, or, you know, that's not what the festive season is about for you, then it doesn't matter whether you receive or give a present.
So even if I said you don't buy me a present and you went to buy me one knowing that I wasn't going to get you one, now I have to go and buy you one.
No, but you don't have to.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
Selfish.
That's your own guilty conscience.
Let me bring Kate.
No, that was like she was saying, that's your conscience at play there. It doesn't matter what they've done. But I also think
What's my fucking present then?
I also think with selfishness and a lot of this stuff, it changes depending on the person and what they've been through and what they've experienced. There's a lot of people, whatever environment they've grown up in, like whether you're an only child, whether you're with somebody that had to share with your with your brothers and sisters or whatever. All of these have like different effects on whether a person becomes selfish.
Well, I was going to move on to that later, but you moved into it now, so let's go
Sorry.
there. No. Do you think it makes a difference what sort of dad you had, or whether you had a dad for lads, whether they grow up selfish or not? For example, my dad was you get in the bus home. No, I'm not going to drive you to fucking school. I'm tired from work. You make your own way there. Mate, I fired you out my urethra. My job's done. You're on your own now. That's basically my dad's model of fatherhood. Whereas when I look at like some of my other friends' dads, they're like, I'll drop you to the gates, boys. Have a nice time in the club. And then 2 a.m, the dad's in his pyjamas.
Yeah.
Rather that than you come home late.
Yeah.
And so they've like you're saying, Kate, they've modelled upon a less selfish type of dad, and there does seem to be a massive range, whereas with mum there seems to be a smaller range of selfishness.
But is that selfish if your dad, chooses not to drop you off? I used to really resent my dad for, we had this one car, which he was the only person who could drive it. My mum couldn't drive.
The problem isn't that you had one car, is it?
One car. We had one car, guys. Hey, I'm one of eight. It's hard times.
Yeah, it was a 16-seater though, so everyone had 2 seats each.
But he would never like pick us up from school. Like our doctors was a 45-minute walk away. We would walk to the damn doctors, athletics club, stuff like that. I used to really resent him for that. But then I thought, it's not. I mean, I'm not being funny, but like I was fully able to walk.
Yes.
I'm fully able to run. It's not really selfish if he doesn't want.
Correct.
No, like,
just
he doesn't.
think it's the
It's
opposite
not
in my
his
head,
duty
like, I
to
think it's
do
the
that.
opposite.
It's more selfish than Lindsay's. So Lindsay's dad, my father-in-law, lets himself into our house if he arrives for us. And
I would love that.
Before I've even got there, a shelf that's come, look, it's done. I don't have to ask. I saw it hanging off, so I fixed it. Now that is foreign to me.
Yeah.
I would be like, oh God, I need to ask because I've got no
Does it
physical
make you a
man
little?
skills.
Does it make you?
No, I love it.
You love it?
Yeah, because before,
Okay.
when my dad was still around, or even my mum's current partner, it would be a kind of, oh God, I need to. My mum's current partner, mum's got a boyfriend, is a carpenter, and I'll be like, oh God, I need to get him to hang a door, and I'll be building up to it. I'll ask after dinner in case he says no, and it causes naps. So I've got to take a run up to asking someone to screw a hinge into the wall because that's how I was raised. The build up, the adrenaline of needing something from someone.
Just going to point out at this stage, Jesus was a carpenter. I always feel you need to do that anytime anyone mentions someone's a carpenter. It makes people feel uneasy. Like, is this guy going to preach to me?
When
I'm not
somebody
religious.
first said that, I thought it was a joke. I was like, oh yeah, whatever.
No, he wasn't. He had a better job than that. Is it
Well,
not
he's
the
handy,
opposite,
Andy.
right?
Everyone knows he's a plumber.
If you grow up, right, and you get everything done for you, does that not make you selfish? Because the norm is that it's done for you. So when you have to do a little bit more, you feel like it's owed you. I have been in relationships with people who had all that done for them and kind of expected a little bit, whereas I expect nothing. When I work in TV, one of my least favourite things about it is breaking down that set way that things are done. Like when the makeup person goes, I'll iron that. You won't iron that. I have ironed my clothes since I was 9 years old, right? You won't sew a button on. I know how to fucking sew a button on better than most people. And I don't know whether it's an Irish thing or just the way I was brought up. But it's a working class thing probably. Is like, we used to ridicule people. If we were getting ready to go out when we were like 18 or whatever, we'd ridicule the guy that didn't know how to iron. It wasn't a badge of honour. You were seen as weak if you didn't know how to iron. You didn't know how to look after yourself. So actually, I wonder, Russell, going back to what you said, is growing up and having everything done for you through a selfless father, does it make you selfish?
Everything is an extreme extrapolation of what I said. I'm not saying everything. Obviously, a child needs to be nurtured and learn how to do certain things for itself. But when you've got a dad who's not doing very little courteous things, like for example, the gift giving, my dad was why buy shit I won't use, won't fucking use it, don't buy me anything, I won't buy you shit. I'm like, I'm 8, give me a break. Give me the soap on a rope. My dad's classic, won't use it. That's the thing he always said. We'd open it, won't use it, boy. Waste your pocket money, won't use it. So there's a territory.
No, but like I can relate to that. Like my mum was impossible to buy things for because anytime you'd buy stuff, she'd be like, "Yeah, no, don't waste your money," and then she'd return it, and you're like, "Well, what was the point of me buying it?" So until we actually had to get to the point where we had to make stuff, and then like she'd like
a macaroni cheese picture.
Something like that, yeah. Or even like
but maybe that's their own anxieties that they're inflicting onto you, essentially, because again, it's a working class thing. So maybe because they struggled to provide for you, then they know the value of that soap bar for you.
Or he was a prick.
Yeah, it's a little no, it's a little bit. It's a little
Russell's dad was a bodybuilder. He's there with like a lush bath bomb. Like, there you go, Dad. Like,
It's extreme though, what Colin's saying. It's like, I struggle, therefore you need to struggle to learn about the real struggle of life. It's a bit of that going on. I just want to go back.
I think that's a bad thing.
Probably. I just want to go back to what you were saying, AJ. I don't want to get too hung up on gifting, but it's a good example. I'm going to say something controversial here. I think girls play games more with stuff like that. So, for example, if it's our birthdays are coming up, Kae, you're in a relationship with a girl, she's like, let's not buy for each other this year. We're both skinned. You don't buy for me.
Absolutely.
It's a game, yeah?
Absolutely.
When a man says it, when Colin says it, I'm not going to buy for you, I'm not going to buy for
nothing.
He means it.
Yeah, of course.
AJ's testing you. She's setting a little exam paper, and the pass of that exam paper is to buy a gift anyway.
Yeah, but what she's saying is, what she's necessarily saying is,
That's absolutely
she
correct.
may not want a gift. She may not want a gift, but she wants to be taken out, or she wants something that actually means something that you've done for her.
But she
or
probably
something,
does want to give as
She
well.
wants like a labour of love.
Yeah.
Essentially. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, the gift can be part of that, but it has to look like that there's been thought put through it.
Thank you.
In order for her to be happy that
A lot of thought as well, because I
you go.
genuinely...
So it's about your present that you bought for them. It's about you and your experience of the present you bought for the person.
No.
Not about their enjoyment of the present.
No.
Which gets back to what I say. Is
No,
buying
Colin.
a present for someone selfish or selfless. You've all said it's selfless and now are given reasons why it's selfish.
Is a man
because,
after
say
something
for
else?
example,
Go on,
when
sorry.
I've been in previous relationships and I've been like, don't buy me a present. I mean, to be honest, to be very honest, I have never in my entire life said, don't buy me a present. And you will never hear those words come from my mouth.
You strike me as a person that wakes up going, it's my birthday! Like,
Absolutely. I want everyone to know about
2 days, 2 or 3 days. She has a birthday weekend.
I
What the
stretch
fuck is
it
that
out.
about birthday
I
weekend?
stretch it out.
No, there's people with a
I
birthday
like to be
week now.
celebrated. However, I am that person who I genuinely value people's time and their words, and I love birthday cards and Christmas cards because I feel like quite often we don't tell each other how we actually feel about each other, and that is the one opportunity every single year where someone can write in a card and tell you how amazing you are.
Awkward.
And that's what I like.
We're recording this
really.
in December, listeners, and I've just gone a bit awkward given
By the
how
way-
much work I've done with AJ, and there's nothing in my bag.
Oh, is this your last one before Christmas? Oh dear. Because I brought her something.
But I
What
love
you
a
said at the
note,
start's right.
a thoughtful gift.
No, but
and it's quite often a note.
But it's A and B. That's all it is. It's not male and female. So your question was, are you think that women scheme a bit more when it comes to presents? I disagree. I think
Do
it comes
you?
back to what you said at the start.
I don't.
A, B personalities. And it comes back to the fact that some of us do and some of us don't.
Absolutely.
We have different reasons to do it. I think there's a lot less different when it comes to selfishness in general between men and women. I think it's
I
more
agree.
type of
I
personality.
wouldn't say
type
scheme.
of person.
I would just say, in my experience, and I'm guessing if we ran a Twitter poll now, would you agree, Kae? A woman is more likely to be slightly game playing if she goes, I don't want you to open a door
No.
for me. You could flip a coin about whether she means that or not. Right? You could flip a coin. I want a selfless man who's going to go forward and open a door for me. Are you making an admirable feminist statement, or are you testing me? Whereas if a man says, please don't do this for me,
the best
he means
example is when a girl says when you're on a date with a girl, first date, and she pretends like she's gonna go and ask to pay, and you're like,
we're not paying.
no, and you'll be like,
what I'm
I'll
saying.
pay for it.
That's a game.
But, it's a
Ask, you
game.
could ask twice though. If that's the key. If you go, I'll pay for it, and your date goes, yeah, okay. I'm like, fuck you. But if I go, if they then say, no, seriously, I don't want you paying for it. I'll pay for it. I'll split it. And I go, no, I want to get it. And they go, well, I'll get the next time. See, that's different.
You
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
when
Next
when
time's
someone
good.
backs down straight away.
Yeah.
Like, you were
No,
never
the
paying
worst
for
one
this.
is when somebody
but the
just
guys
doesn't
do
even
that as
acknowledge
well.
it. When they don't even acknowledge it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
just
the,
stare at it?
the bills come and they're just there like, yeah, well, that's yours. Like, that's like, it's like,
But that happens with guys as well. Guys
straightforward.
do that. I'm not being funny, but I'll never forget this date that I went on.
no,
God.
these are the guys that you meet.
No,
because-
no.
That's why me and AJ became friends, not lovers.
I went on this date with this guy, and we had a few cocktails, and I thought genuinely I was bringing everything to the table.
Right.
I was bringing the fun. I was suggesting the drink. I was literally doing the most. Then the bill came. Bearing in mind he was late as well on me,
no, he's
rude.
gone.
Anyway, the bill
Maybe
came.
it's Addison Lee was late, you know?
He picked up the bill straight away. He snatched the bill, and
was it
then
good?
he proceeded to go down the bill, count with his fingers, and then say, yeah, should we split it? And then when I split this bill, he had the audacity to text me the next day being like, oh my God, it's such a great time, would love to take you out again. Excuse me,
Sorry,
you didn't take me
That's
out.
not selfishness, that is just thorough accounting.
Hold on. So you're saying, I find that weird. You're saying that you performed better during the date. You deserved a higher score.
Yes.
Right. So you're actually annoyed that you had to pay for your own drinks.
No,
That's not.
no,
I'm on the guy's side.
No,
I
I'm
wouldn't split the
annoyed.
bill with you. I'd pay for it all. I would at least make a gesture, but I'd reserve the right to, if I choose, to make you pay for your own drinks.
No, I'm annoyed.
Like, how's that bad?
No, Colin, I'm annoyed that the next day...
Still annoyed, clearly.
I'm still very annoyed, but I'm more annoyed about the fact that he says that he's taken me out. No, you haven't.
Oh, we shouldn't have said
I've
that.
taken myself
Did you go on a
out.
second date?
Absolutely not.
Boys Don't Cry is proud to be sponsored by ASOS Design. It's my absolute go-to brand for the white t-shirt, black jean look. To be honest with you, if it wasn't for ASOS, I would pretty much be naked. Even my pants or socks are from ASOS. But ASOS Design is something for everyone. You too can express yourself however you want with clothing that will give you the confidence to push the boat out a bit, but not too far, and try something new. You don't have to look like me, and if you do and need counselling, please contact me. Created by ASOS and styled by you, ASOS Design. Check out the latest pieces on asos.com/men.
You know what you said about present buying, right? Manipulation. I'll give you a male manipulation. My mate, who will remain nameless, he when it comes, he was Larry David. Basically, my mate's like Larry David, like a victim of circumstance. Everything goes wrong, and it was Christmas Eve, and he hadn't bought any presents for his girlfriend of like 4 years. What he did is he said, "Meet me in Belfast City Centre," and he literally walked into like a Ryman's or whatever. He bought 5 envelopes, wrote a different amount of money in each, and a time, and put the money in the envelopes, like £100, 20 minutes, £10, 30 minutes, right? He said, meet me outside the front of the City Hall. She turns up and he goes, right, for this Christmas, because I never get you what you want, I've devised a brilliant game. So I'm going to give you an envelope and you've got this amount of time to spend it whatever you want. And she thought it was the greatest idea ever.
great.
He never got as many bonus points in his
AJ,
life.
you love that.
But it literally
I
was,
would love that.
Don't pretend you wouldn't love that. You'd be like, which shot would I be in when I got the envelope?
Yeah,
and
I
I'll do it in
love it.
half the time. Motherfucker.
But he came out of like completely like not thinking about
a good
what
one,
to
that's a
get
good
his
one.
That is
girlfriend. It was
so
a desperation idea.
But can I just really push you on this, AJ? And I would be interested to get your opinion as well, Kate. I want to hear a bit more from you. So why are girls playing these games? Are they testing us as a potential long-term mate? You want to know that if you go to me, I'm fine, don't open the door, that I'm able to read, she's a bit tired, she wants to be treated like a princess tonight. I should be able to discern that without you telling me it verbally. That makes me a more eligible male, because my impression is mostly blokes, if they say, I don't want to pay the bill tonight, they mean, I don't want to pay the bill tonight. They don't mean something else. You've got to try and work out.
I mean, I don't know. Some people play games, some people don't play games. That's the bottom line. It just doesn't really matter whether it's male or female. However, when people are on these first dates and they're, potentially testing whether the guy's going to get the bill or, pull the seat out or whatever, they are thinking, I guess, more long term, thinking, how is this person? It's little tests to say, is this person selfish? Would this guy look after me?
Yes.
What kind of father would he be? Like, these are the things that go through our minds on first
And
dates.
this is
Also,
really-
I think it's a bit rude as well when you're asking a girl out and then ask her to pay. But it's always nice for you to get that.
Yeah, and it's a treat.
No, but it's
a
always nice.
treat.
But no. But it's always nice from a guy's perspective when a girl actually does act like she wants to pay it. That's like we were saying earlier. But if I
So you like the role play as well?
no. But if I've
Hold on a second, Kate.
if I've
Say
asked
that
a
again,
girl,
because I think a lot of people will be surprised by what you've just said. You're saying that some men like it if the woman sits down on the first day and go, I'm paying tonight. This is about me paying. This is not a game. I want to pay you.
who the woman? No.
Yeah,
So what I was saying was, if I've asked you to come out with me, then I'm paying. That's cool.
Escalated
That's fine.
quickly.
Yeah. Next Tuesday, Russell.
Do same-sex dates have the same Like, there's that changes
probably,
everything, right?
Interesting,
Right.
because a few of my friends who are gay, I'll always ask like, what's the etiquette? Like, who pays? And it's quite confusing.
What is it? Who
And-
asks? Who asks the other? Should it be who asks the person in the date?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
If I ask you, you pay. If you ask me, you pay. That would
Exactly.
be fair.
One of my
Yeah.
dad's favourite catchphrases were, "I'm paying, I'm saying." So if he was paying for something, then he decided everything that would happen.
Jeez.
So we went to Florida on holiday, for
Coming
example.
back to mine.
It's like a really angry Bruce Forsyth, isn't it?
we went to Florida for 17 nights, and we stayed an hour from Disneyland. We know where we're going near. It's full of fucking idiots being ripped off. Can we not just go there for like one day? I'm going to do 17 nights. I'm 12 in Florida on a white beach. Nothing to do. I'm paying. I'm fucking saying. We don't go. So I spent 17 nights on a random white beach in Florida.
Again, first world problem, but that is very cruel to like be that close and not take your kids to Disney.
Yeah, that's
That is
horrible.
one of the most first world cruel things I've ever heard.
Before we take selfishness into the bedroom, okay, what is the most selfish thing you've done in a relationship, do you think? Are you a selfish boyfriend? Are you single at the moment?
To be honest with you, in relationships, I'm not selfish at all. Like, I'll go above and beyond. At one point, I only like there's something I speak about on stage. Where it was like I only had like 50 quid. At this time when I liked this girl and it was her birthday was coming up, so I made that 50 quid stretch to a gift each week, but it was like each,
Dated her for a year, so she doesn't get
but-
much. Just pound shop again.
But it was like
A wine bar.
no, but Russell, man, it was like
That's beautiful.
No, it was like I was like, all right, so like one of my friends has got his theories like the broker you are, the more creative you are with gifts, and it's so true because I've seen it with everybody around me. So like I found out what she was into, so I was like, I got her a book about a certain thing. I got a T-shirt with a certain phrase she said. I got like flowers delivered to a workplace, and then I got like and then I got like a blank notepad that I numbered every page of her age and each page of her quality that I like about her and why, just usual stuff.
Why did that not work out? Everyone wants to know why that didn't work out now.
But then it's like,
sounds
it's fine. But I liked her in it, and then
She ran
so
off
I
with
was
a
just
rich
like,
bloke.
I don't know. Story of my life. I did all of that stuff where it was like, and I didn't have that much money at the time because I was like,
brilliant.
I just want to make this person happy. And I think in relationships, that's what I'm mainly like. I think when I've been selfish in the past, it's mainly been with my brothers. Like when we were no, it's my toy, like kind of thing, that kind of thing.
Let me say, we come back to this all the time. It's a subject we've explored before, Colin, but it's my belief that women of a certain age, 16 to 25, go through a temporary phase of actually looking for a more selfish, brutish male. There's something arousing in the bastard. She's like, you open the door for me? No, I'm fucking not. If you don't want to be here, babe, fuck off. Oh my God, such a turn on. Like there is there is a certain type of selfishness that is attractive, at least temporarily, up to the age of 25, 26, 27 to women. Do you think, Colin?
I don't
you
know.
ever seen
It's
that?
hard to know because I'm just
Statistics
never.
would suggest yes.
I would never say that. That sounds like I'm saying this to be.
No, I'm
But
giving you an
I
extreme
just
example.
don't. I'm the worst. I'm the opposite. I'm like completely. I've always been nervous around any emotional connection. Terrible at it.
Sure.
Like can't. The first time I kiss a girl is really difficult for me. It's like, is she going to punch me in the face?
Oh, wow.
Like, I need so many signs before I even go near a kiss.
answer is
Do you ask her?
So no, I won't ask her, but like it will
First,
take
it's
a long
best to announce
time.
you're in her house.
Like it'll literally be like,
I'm in the
okay,
cupboard.
she's touching my cock. Can I kiss her yet? Like that's, I need a big sign.
Yeah.
I need a big sign.
No,
I think. Do you remember you said earlier about the maturity as well?
Yes.
I think that plays a
Exactly.
big part. So a 16 to 24-year-old. In terms of where they are maturity, what do you say, 18 and 30?
I've got some.
Was it?
I've got
So
some
an
female
older
friends.
person would connect. An older guy definitely connects more with a younger girl at that moment, maybe because they reach that maturity
Do you think-
quicker.
It's no
I
coincidence.
think-
Nice guys don't pull on an 18 to 30 to holiday. If I go, I went on two of them. I didn't even kiss a girl. If I'm opening doors and having conversations and going, I'm going to buy
Yeah,
you a
but that's
gift.
not so much about selfishness though.
But what is it that's attractive? No, but the selfish guys are like, I'm not even going to look at her. Fuck her.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
That's a level of accessibility. When you're not easily accessible to people, you're a lot more attractive to them. It's like why people fancy celebrities as well. There's this idea of, I'm never going to meet them, so it's just like, I just want them.
It's almost like a fantasy.
Yeah,
Did you go through a phase, AJ, where sorry, Kate, no, finish off what you can say.
No, because I was going to say, I think I've come a bit more around to Colin's way of thinking as well with the idea of like, how even giving a gift sometimes can be selfish, because even those things that I mentioned, that I don't know how it made the other person feel. It could have made them feel really awkward and annoyed. Do you see where I'm coming from? And in which case, me giving those gifts wasn't an act of selflessness. It was selfish because it was me going, oh, look at how great I am. I'm making somebody else feel good.
And now you
Is
just
it honest in
broadcast it.
terms of who you are as well when you do that? Is not the most selfless thing you can do is be honest with somebody, whether that be about everything, like your feelings, your idiosyncrasies, the things that, you know. I tend we put this projection of who we are at the start of every relationship, and then once you've done that, you're never going to find happiness in that. I think it's the most selfish thing you can do. This is the person I am. Yeah, no, I'm not into that in the bedroom. I'm not into that in real life. Oh no, I love your friends. Like, whereas at the start of a relationship, you go, I genuinely can't stand being in a room with your friends. That's a really good place to start. Like any relationship is
finish.
that level of good, right? Good though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, true.
Because how many of us have wasted years of our lives?
In the wrong relationship.
Right, which is the
Amen
most,
to
which is
that,
how
sadly.
selfish is that to the person that you projected an image of yourself that's not true. Like, that's so selfish. You're robbing them of years of their life by pretending you're something you're not.
Yeah,
also,
it's true.
with the thing about the whole guys that are like pricks that you were saying.
Yeah.
Like I when I was younger, I was a lot more like, oh my God, women are queens. We should treat them like it's
Yes, that is the
that's what I
correct
was
way
like,
of
and I got-
thinking.
and
He got it early,
but
didn't he?
no girl like
Exactly.
listen,
You're like that man gets no pussy in it.
yeah, exactly. But there's that famous Tupac video where he's like, oh, I think women are queens, they should be respected, and he was getting no girls, and then there was a footage of him going, bitches ain't shit, and then all these women were over him for years.
But that's so,
years and years.
hold on, Kate. That's so confusing.
It's mad
Some young
confusing.
men. I've had blokes coming up to me talking about this podcast. I'm surprised how young some of them are. What you've just said there is
I
so
find it
confusing, 'cause
confusing
I
as
was the
well.
nice guy at school, and I left. What did I do wrong?
Do you know what it is, actually? I think what it is at a certain age, all you want is a confident guy, someone who's really popular. And it just so happens that the confident guy who is really popular amongst all of the peers, amongst all of the teachers, the ones that are really memorable are the cocky ones, are the ones that smoke, are the ones that stay
the
out late,
selfish ones.
are the selfish ones. And it's almost like, it's another thing of, you know, people fancy who everyone else fancies. I feel like that happens as well. We're like, you know, it's like, oh, Dean's well fit. I didn't think that Dean was fit, but now there's 10 girls in my class who are saying, oh, he's really hot. So all of a sudden, you now think that he's really hot. It's weird. I feel like I go for good guys who just turn bad eventually.
But you hear girls go, oh, he's too nice. Shut up, man.
Yeah. No, boy, does that switch around when you become an adult.
It switches around.
That switches around hugely as you become older. It absolutely switches around, because ultimately the person who was smoking around the back of the bike sheds, who was like getting a bit and all that stuff, wasn't listening at school, didn't think they needed to learn French. You know, and then when you go into I'd love to revisit all the people in my class when they're 30, because I guarantee you the nerds in the class had way more women than the ones who
eventually.
were like being fancy when they're 15. Eventually,
100%.
It's as I always say, it's a long road to become a Panani master. But if I can do it, anyone can.
you're still at the service station in the M1.
I mean, I was like, you know, when Uma Thurman turns up with Kill Bill and the dude with the white moustache, I was like, I've never learned this now. Would you like a drink? Right.
At what point did you realise you'd learnt all that?
I was old, man. I was honestly, I didn't even have my first one night stand, for example, until 7 years ago. It took me that long to have the confidence just to go into a bar and go, yeah, this is me. This is what you're looking
They're
for.
horrific.
TV's Russell Kane.
They're horrific things.
Why are they horrific?
I only had about a 2-year period as a really one DJ where I had any one night stands, and I would say maybe 10% of them were worth them. The rest of them were horrific. You'd have too much to drink. You'd have no connection. I'm not saying all sex has to have a connection. The dirtiest sex needs to have a connection.
Yes.
Right?
Isn't that weird?
Because it all comes from the same place. That honesty that like so few people I think have in the bedroom. Trust and honesty leads to the filthiest sex, not some
That's a paradox.
random pairing up with someone. It's literally like just plugging two balls out of a ball pool and saying these are going to match.
Yeah.
Like that's such a difficult thing.
Well, it is about
most of the
holding
time
balls.
it just leads to absolute like that was not worth it.
So-
I would have had a better time just being with my mates and having a laugh.
Just having a posh wank.
didn't-
Do you know what posh wank is? It's where you numb,
Yes.
numb your arm, put a glove on, and then pretend it's someone else. Right.
That is mental.
Then you just stay there, oh, who's that? Don't worry about who I am. I'm your friend. Just half a lip painted. Right, so that brings us on nicely to selfishness in the bedroom. There is a perception and a stereotype, which I obviously disagree with, ladies, that men are more selfish in the bedroom. 2 pumps and a squirt is what they say in Essex. I don't know if they say it anywhere else. These are 2 pumps and a squirt, Gary. And are they, AJ, are men more selfish in the bedroom, or is it 50-50? Are there selfish people in the bedroom?
I don't know. I have no idea. Like,
Well,
at the end-
come on,
I only know
got
about my personal sex life.
You know about all your female friends. You know about all your female friends.
Yeah.
You know what they complain
What's the
about.
group chat saying? Come
Yeah.
on, like
Yeah,
let's-
exactly. Come on, AJ.
Okay, so this is what the group chat's saying,
Exactly,
right?
thank you.
So basically, you might be, if you're seeing a guy, you test how selfish they are in the bedroom if they come quickly or if they come first. That makes them selfish. Because it's like, I'm sorry.
Oh, right, hold on,
but
this is a
like,
very
You're too buff. Oh.
No, this is
no.
good. It's good, Colin. 'Cause
It's-
this is specific. People
it's
always
very
say to me,
specific.
get specific.
Yes.
So we've
and
got
that is the specific.
the first
in the group chat.
Let's call it the first commandment.
Yeah.
The first commandment
Is
thou shalt not spunk off too quick.
too quick.
Right.
Exactly.
Are you alright if
so-
a guy stops and says, "Look, I'm way too turned on by you right now, so I need to stop because I am going to come quickly"? Would you say that was selfless?
No, that's selfless. That's good.
Right.
But it would ruin a moment.
No, it's not going to ruin. It's not. You're prolonging the moment. Actually,
because
so,
like give it 6 months, it'll be fine.
I mean, if I like the girl enough, just her putting the key in the door on the way back can be enough.
So,
I've got to take the chub off. I've gone.
Job.
It's when the
So
door's
there's-
chubbed as well. That does me. 'Cause she's obviously into security. Sorry, go on.
gosh. So there is that in the group chat. Also in the group chat is if say for
But
example,
can I just say
you
something?
are-
Sorry, I do need to say that
Okay.
sometimes a man, we're laughing, but sometimes it's a serious condition
Yeah.
for some bloke. I mean, it's a suicidally serious condition, and some men can't help that age. They're not necessarily going, fuck you, it's just all about me. Some men have serious.
You can
Oh,
tell
you're talking
the
about
difference.
premature ejaculation.
Yeah, I am.
You can tell the difference though between a guy who is like upset that he's done it, right? So you'd be like,
Exactly.
"Oh, this will get better," and a guy who's
a
literally
2 pumps
like
and a
out
squirt.
of the fucking door.
Exactly.
But then I would say that on mass, the guys are more selfish because you often hear, I still hit though, or like, do you know what I mean? I still came. Like, do you know what I mean? If I get, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's that sort of
alien
male
thought,
bravado,
isn't it?
that male
Like
bravado that
any
people have.
self-respecting male or female.
Yeah.
Go to a bedroom and not care more about the other one's enjoyment.
Exactly.
I get like
I
you know the
100%
chemical release you
understand,
get
yeah.
when you orgasm. I think mine is probably. I think I get more of a chemical release in my head.
if that person's
If the
enjoying,
other person comes, like otherwise I'm just like I didn't
that's what
enjoy
it's meant
that
to be
because
like.
maybe
That's what it's
that's
meant to be
selfish. Maybe that is selfish to actually think you want the other person.
But what you're saying, Ollie, I totally agree. You've got to look after that. I personally will eat that like a pug with a bowl of sweets. But
No, but I agree. I agree with what you're saying, and it should be like that, Colin. But I think the majority of, especially young men, like all they care about is getting their numbers up.
No, I think the minority do, but they just talk shit about it. Like
I mean, it could
everything
be
in this
that as
world,
well.
the minority, like they just love to fucking gas off about it. And I would say
And talk is
way
cheap.
more men care about the women's enjoyment than don't.
They do
But
these
we
days,
aren't
though.
on fucking
But then
line.
you look
We
at
aren't online making videos about it and fucking going,
Yeah,
I'm,
but bro, you
really
see-
happy that it's not something you
No,
never tweet
I
about
agree with
or
that. I
message
agree
about
with that. But
or make
you do
a
see the
video
levels
about.
of women that actually orgasm, and it's like, I mean, when you look at the statistics, there's so many women apparently in the UK that have still never orgasmed.
yeah,
I can only
so-
get to you one at a time, ladies. Just be patient.
yeah.
I'll
But
get round to you.
I know women who genuinely.
I'm like working my way through the census.
Next.
I know women who genuinely have thought that sex is something to be endured, that it's actually
Yeah.
for the man to have all
Awful.
of the pleasure. And actually, as women get older and more experienced, they're like, oh, actually, it's for my enjoyment as well. And it's something that I should have fun at too.
But a lot of the time women get shamed about enjoying it though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like you
never been with a woman
you get made to feel like, oh, if you're open about your sexuality,
Then you're a nymph
or like you're oh, she's a slut, she's this, that, the other. Yeah.
But you know what I have experienced in my tour of duty in Afghanistan, let's call it, was girls that are
Is
like...
that not when you don't have sex?
Girls are like... You do get some girls like, just like chill out. Please don't obsess too much about whether I'm enjoying it. But you know when you're too like, hey babe, it's all about you. Are you satisfied? Are you like doing an audit every 5 minutes?
Yeah.
There's definitely a line where you can go from selfless into the point where you're feeding your own ego by having to know the woman's enjoying it too much. You know what I mean?
You
There's
can't
a
be
line there.
reviewing what's going on throughout the whole experience.
I have a binder.
If I was to point on this chart, where
men
would you
of
say
being
you're
selfish by obsessing over you coming? Like that would be the worst. Like you can never level at it.
No, a lot of girls have. God, you
I
just keep
think that's
asking me the whole
ridiculous.
time. Did I come? Did I come? Do you know what I mean, AJ? That
like,
could
chill out.
almost
You shouldn't
be
have
as
to
bad.
ask, Russell.
That's almost about. That's
You
almost
should
as,
not have to ask him. That's the problem right there. If you have to ask, then you're fucked. You should
sometimes-
never have to ask someone. Did you just? Like,
well, no. Sometimes a peak, it can be a false flag, can't it?
No, it can't be, Russell.
Was that it? No. I was just into it. It can just be a few peaks can follow the summit. And also, if you just develop what I have, which is I have a form which I hand to the girl afterwards, and she just, like the smiley face you hit on the way out of a toilet. I've got one of those on my bedroom door. How did I do today?
Airport
Bang, green
security.
smiley face.
Bananas.
AJ, give us one tip for the men watching this. What can we do to be less selfish in the bedroom? If there was one thing that a man might not be doing that he could start doing tomorrow, what would it be?
I don't know. So
More-
I think
More
honestly,
head, less rushing.
no, I just think it's all
More
about
cuddling.
making the other person feel confident and comfortable. That's all it is, really.
you know-
Which sounds really square, but I feel like when there's two people who've come together and they feel really at ease together and they feel really comfortable and confident, that's when that's when you feel sexy, that's when that person feels sexy, and that's where the magic happens.
But do you know what I think? Like, by nature of what we do, essentially, we're always very observant and we're very much in tune with other people's
True, we're not
feelings
typical.
and stuff. So we take into account, even for example, when you're interviewing someone, you have to sort of gauge their personality and you sort of gauge
You
how
did
they're
the interview,
feeling.
I did the interview in the lounge first
party
as well.
makeup.
I didn't
Yeah,
get
exactly.
makeup.
So it's something natural to you. So
I didn't think everyone else did the lounge interview. I have a formal interview in the lounge before
casting couch.
proceeding to the bedroom. So we were going through in a minute for your treatment. Any particular areas you're in?
with a white robe on and all sorts. But yeah, I think given what we do, a lot of things that we sort of hear like other men do, well, it's alien to us. But you'd be surprised how many people in general aren't as observant or can't gauge somebody else's feelings and can't actually read signs
And Kate, do you think
as easily as we can.
Because
Is
it's
that
not-
male and female then?
Yeah,
think it is.
I don't know if that's
Again,
male
it's
specific
right
or
back.
whatever, but I'm just talking about in terms of us three here.
Sorry,
sat down,
Kate, I've got a follow-up question for what you just said. Do you think that porn and disproportionate use of it by men could be driving some of that selfishness, particularly with younger men in the bedroom? They're watching porn and they think that is sex.
Well, yeah, because I think what it is there are elements of what happens in porn that happens in real sex, and it can be really enjoyable in real sex. But the problem is that what I just spoke about before is all detached from it. There isn't in porn you don't see the guy reading signs from the woman thinking, oh, I've heard her do this, or her breathing's like this or whatever, so I understand that I should
Exactly.
focus on this area or continue doing this. It's just like, oh, pummel,
Yeah.
over her face. Do you know what I mean? And it's just no, but honestly, like, and then that's
Other targets are available.
but that's the notion that
no, I
a lot
know.
of boys seem as acceptable rather than actually thinking. Well, but that's why a lot of girls prefer to read erotica. That's why 50 Shades of Grey was such a success, because it actually delved into the psyche of it for women as well. It was like, oh, he's doing this, and this is how it makes me feel. And if more men were able to actually observe that sort of stuff, they'd be able to get a much more fulfilling sex life. I believe,
Guys, I'm
yeah.
so sorry we are out of time. It's absolutely.
Is that because we didn't have enough time to do this because someone was late?
No.
Is that why? So everyone has to be elsewhere and we have
Seriously.
20 minutes less podcast because someone
we've
turn
done-
up in time.
We've done the full 50 minutes. That's we've had the played the middle bit, and Kay just finished by putting some facts all over our face. So thanks to my guests, Kae Kurd, Colin Murray and AJ
Big
Odudu.
up.
You can download previous episodes of Boys Don't Cry from wherever you get your podcast. If you liked it, leave us a review. If you don't be a selfish bastard and leave negative stuff. Fuck off. Thank you for watching Boys Don't Cry with Russell Kane, brought to you by Joe, together with ASOS.